You know, when it comes to issues of economy, I get a little bit jittery. Because as a young person who is trying to survive in this economy, and also as a young person who interacts with other young people across the country and see how it's just difficult to even plan for your future, it becomes difficult. If we want to look at how our economy is performing, the first thing that we must look at, and we must never lose sight on, is the cost of energy. And the cost of energy in this country drives literally everywhere. Of course, the government chose to remove subsidies on energy, thinking that maybe agriculture is the place to perhaps put some subsidies in terms of subsidizing fertilizer, and forgetting that people like the border industry, which is a service economy and therefore production economy active in our economy of over 1.5 million people, use energy. But now, where you ask the question, where is our problem? You know, given what the Minister for Finance talked about, I think that our problem is simply in the mismanagement of our economy with regards to corruption. Because if the issue of energy, for instance, that I'm talking about, today, if you want to assess how your economy is doing, you must go to the fuel levies charge that is charged in our economy, and you must also go to the forex charge. The fuel levies usually in the economy, and my brothers here will agree, that the fuel levies that we are charged, that form the basis of taxation, should ordinarily be something that is based on fluctuations that are on the global prices for fuel, or if it's directly a cost that has gone to local production of electricity. Today, if you look at a normal Kenyan who buys electricity at a cost of 2,000 shillings. What happens with this person is that they end up getting units equivalent to about 958, which basically means that a Kenyan paying for electricity today is charged almost 27% more on fuel charge. And that fuel charge, it is hydropower that is produced locally, meaning that it's not responding to global prices. Number two, when you look at something like forex charge on that same consumption, it is almost over 10% in Kenya today. Now, what is the problem there? The problem is the government is taxing people to manage its own problems that are corruption-based. Today, Trevor, is over 100 days since President Ruto took over power. We can actually draw comparisons that when we finished our elections last year, government of Kenya has not had the disturbance that we have had in other elections. This can be akin to what Kibaki did when he was transitioning to power. Within 3 months, because he didn't have disturbances, the first thing he did was to arrest runaway corruption that makes government very expensive. And in our country today, Trevor, I can tell you without a doubt that the problem that we are having, number one, is the leakages that government has in its taxes. Because you can collect all these taxes, but if they don't get to the pot of government, then it's a problem. KRA officials that are raising so much money by making people either evade tax or basically just have a loophole that you get that people are just taking money out of government, makes it difficult for this government to be stable. And then when you look at now the expense side, which the governor says that you must manage, you cannot manage an expense when on that other end you also have got wastage in public resources. Okay. How is wastage happening in our country today? The wastage is happening by procurement processes that are completely inflated. That inflation is what responds to the inflation that we're seeing in fuel and these other places. Because our government today, if you check, and I've had the benefit of being in the committee, in the Budget and Finance Committee in Senate, and therefore when we were going through looking at things like equalization fund and additional county revenue funds, we had a chance to sit with the CRA. And you can see how our government is spending. Of all the monies that we raise, almost up to 70% goes on government wage bill and issues to manage government.
So it's recurrent
expenditure that don't go to development. And if those recurrent expenditures, if you interrogate them, the expenses, Governor, that we have in this country are crazy. Why? Because procurement officers are making it possible for government to have those leakages.
Okay.
Why is it becoming an endemic problem? It becomes an endemic problem because these illicit financial leakages and financial wastages in government result to irregular spending, where a procurement officer or a KRA officer has got so much money that they've taken out of government, they don't know where to hide it. Number one, they will start dollarization of our economy. They want to buy more dollars, that we have got few dollars in the economy so that they can hide the money. Number two, they want to put it in some materials that do not participate in what my friend Governor Wamatangi is talking about, the bottom-up economy. Because if somebody takes so much money from government and then builds these empty malls that we are seeing mushrooming, or these big real estate projects that nobody occupies, and occupancy is registered with, again, other more money that has been taken from the public, it becomes an endemic problem. It is time that I wish as a young person to see the president addressing the issue of runway corruption in government. Okay. That is the biggest solution that can be able to solve this. Otherwise, everything else will continue squeezing the last milk from the camel for the people who come from the north or from the cow. My brother Lekina will tell you that when you are milking, you know, when you're milking, and the calf as certain, they have to milk some milk that you already have. You must leave for the calf some so that the calf can grow, and then you can have milk the next day. Okay. The over-taxation in Kenya, in fact, I can say without a doubt that taxation is not the problem of the Kenyan economy. More taxation, we can even have tax cuts. Okay. Because Kibaki did this in 2003 and dealt with this runway corruption in KRA collection side and procurement side of government and put our numbers positive in the country and made it possible to invest in the lower part of the economy.
Yes.